In the headlines, House of Representatives again passes Peace Corps bill. Nuhu Ribado's decision to discontinue legal battle against Aishatu Binani generates reaction in Adamawa. Senate raises concern over cash withdrawal limit as POS operators call for policy reversal. And lastly, on the international scene, United Nations say M23 rebels killed at least 131 civilians in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo massacre. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Updates. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for joining. And now the news in details. Members of the House of Representatives have again passed a bill establishing the Nigerian Peace Corps after years of controversies over the status of the Corps. The establishment of the Corps, according to sponsors, is to facilitate peace and ensure the security of local communities and neighborhoods. The bill was read out by Nkiruka Onyejiocha, who stood in the majority leader of the House, Ado Dogwa, at plenary. I recall that both chambers of the National Assembly had in 2017 passed the Nigerian Peace Corps Establishment Bill 2016, but President Muhammadu Buhari withheld his assent to the bill, citing duplication of functions with already existing security agencies and lack of funds for its establishment. The bill was in July 2019 reintroduced and regazetted by the House, this time again sponsored by the Chief Whip Muhammad Mongono. The Peace Corps has been in existence since 1998 without any legal backing, which led to security agencies clamping down on the activities of the Corps. In another development, in a bid to ensure the well-being of the citizenry, the House of Representatives had directed the Ministry of Petroleum Resources to ascertain the availability of hydrocarbon in commercial quantity and bid that. And moving on, in politics now, mixed reactions have greeted Nuhu Ribado's decision to discontinue the case against Senator Aishatu Dahiru Binani's gubernatorial candidature. And while the leadership of the party is pleased with the decision, some residents in Yola hold contrary views. Salis Lawan files in this report.
It will be recalled that Senator Aishatu Binani won the All Progressive Congress primaries election with 430 votes to defeat her closest rival, Nuhu Ribado, a victory he challenged few days after the primaries. He later suffered loss from both the Federal High Court and the recent one at the Court of Appeal Yola, where he challenged Binani's victory. Nuhu Ribado has, however, resolved to discontinue with court processes against Senator Aishatu Dahiru Binani's gubernatorial ambition, a move the state APC leadership welcomed.
That court case has dragged our party backward. A lot of resources were spent, a lot of time was spent, and it has brought a sort of division among the APC family in Adamawa State. So his withdrawal now has put an end to all those rancors. APC in Adamawa now is one, and we have a sole candidate, as I've said, Her Excellency Senator Aishatu Dahiru Ahmed Binani. But with that decision of Mala Nuhu to continue with the case, honestly, there's joy all over in the APC family in Adamawa State, and we're very grateful to him for doing that.
Meanwhile, some respondents in Yola who are not comfortable with the decision said there is still much to be done.
To me, it is a good thing that the former EFCC boss did, in that he wants to build their party. Had it been that he so distinguished Senator Binani to challenge her, in fact, their party would have suffered. Even though I'm not with them, as you see my tag, I'm for PDP, but what he did now, it will change them very well.
Adamawa State leadership of the party said the former EFCC's boss decision will ensure cohesion and unity among its team and supporters and ensure that the party remains one big family. From Yola, Salis Lawan, Trust TV News.
Now, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, says he has the capacity to lead the nation and ensure good governance if elected. He said this at the Nelson Mandela Freedom Park in Oshogbo, the Osun State capital, during the PDP presidential campaign in the state. Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbade fastened this report.
Members of People's Democratic Party and supporters of the presidential candidate of the party, Atiku Abubakar, stormed the Nelson Mandela Freedom Park in Oshogbo for the party's rally. The state governor, Ademola Adeleke, led dignitaries and political office holders in the state to the event. The national chairman of PDP, Iyorchia Ayu, and top echelon of PDP across the country also graced the occasion. While speaking, Atiku assured that he would ensure good governance and deliver dividends of democracy to Nigerians if elected.
Brothers and sisters of Osun, I have come to say a very big thank you. And I urge you, I appeal to you, I plead with you to come out in greater numbers than you did in the last state election and vote PDP in the next general election. That is the only way you can secure your future and the future of your children. We promise you, we will not fail you. We are not like APC because we have done it before.
Chieftains of PDP in the state appealed to people of Osun State to vote for Atiku as they did in the election that brought Adeleke into power.
Imagine now between PDP and APC, particularly in the Northwest. You have seen all the former governors and governors of the Northwest. After Northwest, we are following them. So nobody will want to waste his vote for somebody who is going to deliver us to another period of suffering.
With Senator Ademola Adeleke being the governor, if and by the special grace of God, we do get our man, the man of the moment, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, as the president. You can imagine what the combination will do to the good people of Osun, especially the people of the Southwest and Nigeria.
Party faithful at the event said they were convinced that PDP candidate has the competence to lead the country. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Oshogbo.
And still in politics, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, on Wednesday assured Nigerians that there will be no more ASUU strike in Nigeria if he's elected president in 2023. Obi, who made the promise while addressing supporters of the party at Jolly Nyame Stadium, Jalingo, said the 15 months of ASUU strike in Nigeria since 1999 was a disaster against actualizing a productive nation through intellect. The Labour Party presidential candidate also promised to make Taraba an economic hub and a tourist center for Nigeria through untapped mineral resources in the state. Stakeholders of the party in the state assured Tarabans that the real time for the true democracy to be experienced in Nigeria rests on voting for Peter Obi and all other Labour Party's candidates in the 2023 elections.
We have shown you our commitment. Taraba is a tourist center. We will turn it into a tourist center. Here we can grow flower, we can grow tea, we can grow coffee. We want to come and do it here for export, and you will be rich.
It is not between tribes. It is not between faiths. It is between the good people of Nigeria and bad governors. We must win. Nigeria must unite. The meaning of unity is to bring Peter Obi to Nigeria.
And away from political matters, the federal government says Its fight against corruption is on track following recovery of over 120 billion naira among other currencies through the Proceeds of Crime Act 2022. Minister of Information Lai Mohammed disclosed this in Abuja on Tuesday. Aisha Salih was there and now reports.
As the Buhari administration winds down, series of briefings are being organized to highlight the successes attained during his tenure. One of the major achievements, according to Minister of Information Lai Mohammed, is in the fight against corruption and illicit financing activities. The minister insists that the fight is intact, especially as the president recently signed the Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Bill with 2 others into law to improve the country's anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing framework.
In line with the new law, all relevant agencies of government have now opened a confiscated and for future properties account with the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. I can confirm that so far, the federal government has realized over 120 billion naira, among other currencies, from poker. The money is being used to fund the completion of ongoing critical infrastructure projects in the country.
Minister of Environment Mohammed Abdullahi is also showcasing achievements in the sector, especially in the areas of mitigating desertification, land degradation, and drought management.
We've established a web-based flood early warning systems, which regrettably were ignored by some states. We've also developed safeguards to operationalize action on areas that require movement or evacuation in terms of emergency. We have synergized with the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs in that regard. We've also established community-based waste management recycling facilities in flood-prone areas across the country. We've also tried to strengthen climate change adaptation and resilience in flood-prone areas.
Nigeria has also made great strides at fulfilling its commitment to the 2022 United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, COP27.
We're in the forefront of a list of countries that would likely benefit from the fund for loss and damage. What is pending is actually the mechanism, for setting up of the fund, and then the conditions within which a country can access those funds. So we are waiting for the mechanism to be set up, but while that is being done, we have already set out an action plan. It will be supported by the National Climate Change Council when it finally develops its own national 5-year action plan. So we are doing all the best we can to ensure that Nigeria benefits from the outcomes of the Sharm el-Sheikh in terms of climate finance.
One of the major achievements of the Ministry of Environment is its cooperation with the United Nations Environment Programme in the Ogoni Land Clean, the Nigeria Erosion Watershed Management Project, and its clean and green initiatives in states across Nigeria. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And as precautionary measures to tackle vehicle theft, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alikaili Baba, has launched a platform for Nigerians to report cases of stolen vehicles. Force Public Relations Officer Lumuyiwa Adejobi, who disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday, said the digitalized platform, Central Motor Registry (CMR), successfully completed, was commissioned by the IGP, is situated by the force headquarters in Abuja. He said the newly digitized Central Motor Registry Command Center will make it possible for the members of the public to report vehicles stolen from as far back as 1st January 2018 and yet to be recovered, to impute the vehicle details on the online platform to serve as a reliable data point for the possible recovery of the vehicle. He said the platform launched followed the IGP's quest to ensure a digital environment for policing the country for robust and more proactive measures in crime prevention, investigation and prosecution. The Nigerian Medical Association (NMA) says it will commence an indefinite strike over non-payment of salaries by the Abia State government on December 8. This is contained in a communique issued by NMA's chairman, Dr. Abali Isaiah, and Secretary Dr. Daniel Ekeleme after meeting on Wednesday in Aba, the state's commercial nerve. The association lamented that their colleagues working at the Abia State University Teaching Hospital and the Health Management Board are being owed between 21 to 25 months and 13 months salary arrears, respectively. The NMA accused the state government of not showing any serious commitment to the cause. And away from Abia State, the monarch of Osho Ajowa Akoko in Akoko Northwest local government area of Ondo State, Oba Clement Jimo, has regained freedom. The traditional ruler, who was abducted in his palace, was set free by the bandits after he had spent 7 days in their den. Reports say that the monarch was freed on Wednesday evening and he had been taken to the hospital where he was receiving treatment. It is not clear whether a ransom was paid or not before he was released. It was earlier reported that the abductors contacted the family and demanded a sum of 100 million naira, but later reduced it to 10 million naira. The police public relations officer of the Ondo State Command, Fumilayo Dulami, confirmed the development. You're watching Trust TV News Update. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at the dangers associated with scrap collection in Edo. Details of that story and more shortly. Do stay with us.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Or really, if you look at English squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
That's great. It's good to see you.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the news updates on Trust Television. A recap of our top stories. We told you that House of Representatives again passes Peace Corps bill. And Nuhu Ribada's decision to discontinue legal battle against Aishatu Binani generates reactions in Adamawa State. And moving on to more news, senators on Wednesday expressed reservations over the new Central Bank of Nigeria policy on cash withdrawals. The Senate Minority Leader Philip Aduda had, during Wednesday's plenary, called the attention of his colleagues to the new policy while seconding a motion that the nominations of Aisha Ahmed and Edward Adamu as deputy governors of CBN be referred to the committee for screening. Aduda called for caution on the cash withdrawal limit, saying the policy would affect the country's economy. Meanwhile, Senate President Ahmed Lawan cautioned the CBN not to approach the policy by jumping at it at once, saying many Nigerians will be affected. Lawan said the new CBN policy will be thoroughly debated next Tuesday.
Just to say that they rolled out lots of policies and they rolled out, they said even to take money from the POS will be 20,000 naira, and that the denomination to be put in the POS was going to be 200 naira. And corporate organizations, 500,000 naira, and then withdrawal of money to the tune of 5 million from about 600 branches with about 35-40 million customers. We'll have to go to the banking headquarters for approvals. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, our commerce, I don't think, is ready for this, and our economy might not take this shock.
I want us to be properly informed and properly guided. Most of us, if not all of us here, have not had an engagement with that institution. We are not happy with what it is, but when we debate, we should have solid grounds. And I believe that at the moment, my personal opinion is, if we want to be a cashless society, we should take time to be a cashless society, not to jump at once into being cashless. Most Nigerians will be out of business. So I believe that, but we need to have an opportunity, take the opportunity of screening. From there, we can go ahead, because by then, somebody would have explained exactly what they mean.
And on issues bordering on domestic and gender-based violence, Hizbah Corps will be applying Islamic law to tame gender and domestic violence against women and girls, believed to be on the increase across northwest states of Nigeria. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin reports.
For quite some time, gender-based violence has remained a major challenge, threatening especially the safety of women and children, particularly girls. Although several provisions are being made to address the situation, but experts say widespread abuse of women and girls in northern Nigeria is becoming disturbing. The reason why violence against women and girls is rising is because of the situation the society is in. That is why sometimes it goes up and sometimes it comes down. But we in Hizbah believes that the gender-based violence is reducing at the moment.
People are accepting to talk about it, are accepting to even listen to you. Because before, people don't even want to talk to you about such things. And this is what is making things difficult. Because if a girl is molested, the parent don't want to talk about it. But now, we are getting somewhere, because the parents are ready to listen to anybody that wants to help them.
In search for permanent solution, Hizbah commanders from the 6 states of the Nigeria's northwest region are here to deliberate on how to apply Islamic perspective in protecting women and girls against gender-based violence in the region.
In the Quran and in the Hadith of the Prophet, his practice, his tradition, when you come and look at his life according to what Imam al-Bukhari and Muslim reported in so many places, you find that the way the Prophet is treating his family, starting with the wives and then the children. If we can emulate him, we the Muslims today, and do it the way he did, or maybe even closer to that, there shall be no gender-based or domestic-based violence, sincerely speaking.
According to experts, the current insurgency in some states across the region is escalating violence against women, which Hizbah is expected to find a lasting solution to the protection of women and girls.
Because of the result of armed banditry and kidnappings that are happening, particularly in the northwestern part of Nigeria, the gender-based and domestic violence against women have been on the increase. It is astronomically increasing in the sense that in every 3 women, at least one had been violated.
Meanwhile, the need for government and relevant Muslim organizations to come up with a way to ensure enforcement of relevant Islamic provisions toward addressing the issue of gender-based violence may significantly bring an end to the increased violation of women and girls' rights across the northwestern part of Nigeria. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
And now to Edo State, where scrap dealers in Benin City, the capital of Edo State, have called on relevant authorities to come to their aid over constant harassment and extortion, as well as life-threatening treatment by unscrupulous elements in parts of the state. The call came following an attack on a scrap metal collector in the early hours of Tuesday, a situation that almost cost him his life. Nafisa Bello completes the story.
Oh, as they go for streets, then say, Aboki, come. As I come, then say, you want buy market? I say, no. I say, yes. I say, I come. As they come, then come round me, then come they beat me, and come carry bottle. I get money, I get 20,000 per here, I get 20,000 per here. Then carry this 20,000, as I hold this one, then say, make I give them. I say, I'm not going to give you this one. As you carry this one, just leave me. And say, make you, I give them all. If I not give them all, they will kill me. I say, I kill me. Now and then go carry the bottle and then go shoot bottle for my body.
That's Yusuf Dauda, the scrap collector on hospital bed, narrating his ordeal in the hands of the criminal elements, who almost killed him in the curse of forcefully extorting him. Speaking with newsmen, the leadership of the scrap dealers in Edo State called for government intervention, saying the harassment was one too many.
Because sometimes our boys, the complain, would give money, go buy a market inside town. But area boys, they call and say, come buy a market. When you come hard for one side, you collect money for the boys. And sometimes, I even say the market for them, you come back say, come, it is 20 for our play. And sometimes a lot of life, nobody take it. So this is not what happened. What would I beg for? Make it help us now.
Lending his voice to peaceful coexistence in the state, as well as in the country, the chairman, Hausa community in Edo State, Alhaji Badamasi Saleh, promised to liaise with relevant authorities to ensure the culprits are brought to book.
So we have to, recommend the effort of the soldiers around that S&T barrack. Immediately they had the information, they swung to action. Before they got to the scene of the crime, those hooligans, they run and left the boy there inside blood. So also Good Samaritan too, I now have to send some of the Hausa people who are doing scrap to the destination and go there and carry the boy to hospital. And right now, I also authorize the Hausa people who are doing the scrap to make sure they go to police and report. Then further action. We will not allow such thing to continue, and we will not take it as far as we are Nigerians, and will not allow.
Officers and men of the Nigerian Army attached to the S&T barracks, Uselu, and operatives of the Edo State Security Network, who rushed the victim to the hospital, are however on the lookout for the suspects who are currently on the run. Nafisa Bello, Trust TV News, Benin.
And on the foreign scene, the United Nations says that M23 rebels killed at least 131 civilians in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo late last month as part of a campaign of murder, rape, kidnapping, and looting. In a preliminary investigation released on Thursday into the November 29 to 30 massacres in the villages of Kinshishe and Bambo, the UN peacekeeping mission and the Joint Human Rights Office found the killings were undertaken in retaliation for clashes between M23 and rival armed groups. And that brings us to the end of the news update at this hour. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for watching.